Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and this is part 4 to What If Naruto was a Full Uzumaki. I'm really sorry, guys, for not uploading in such a long time. How long has it been? Like a week? I don't know, I didn't check, but then uh, I think it's been around a week, and we're on the road to 2K, guys. We reached 1.6K, um, the sub count is only going to increase from now on, so I hope you guys can make my channel more popular and like share it with other people and stuff. So anyways, enough of me rambling. um, so last part we ended off with Tsunade being appointed as a fifth Hokage, and since Sasuke was able to see Naruto fight against Orochimaru, he had no doubt that Naruto was way stronger than Orochimaru. And like, if it were up to him, he wouldn't go and train with Orochimaru to get on the same level as Naruto. But then he knows that at this point, Naruto is actually stronger than Itachi. So he believes that the village is actually holding him back because like whenever he asked Naruto to train him, Naruto wasn't training him, and uh, because Sasuke is arrogant and he has a big stick up his ass, he doesn't realize that if he just asks more politely, people would be happy to train him. So, but anyways, Sasuke, he thinks about leaving the village, but then he doesn't really act on that yet. Like, first he wants to fight with Naruto and see how he stands against Naruto. He knows he's going to lose, but then he's made peace with the fact that Naruto's stronger than him. But then he just wants to see um, how big the gap is basically. So once they reached back to Konoha, like after Tsunade was appointed, Sasuke, like when he went to hang out with Naruto and Team 7, he asked Naruto for a spar, and Naruto obviously accepted because in this timeline Sasuke wasn't injured, and it was fine to spar with him. So they got ready, and Sakura was the what do you call it? The proctor kind of thing, like the person who regulates, who monitors the fight. I don't know what to call someone like that, but then anyways, Sakura basically just monitors their fight to make sure like no one is aiming any killing blows. So of course, like Sakura starts the fight. She just tells both of them to start, and Sasuke first tries to go into a taijutsu battle with Naruto, but he can easily see as that he's outclassed because he keeps trying to hit Naruto and swipe his legs so that he falls and Sasuke can get an advantage. But Naruto is able to dodge perfectly, and his taijutsu is kind of like flawless. So when Naruto blocks on a Sasuke's kicks, Sasuke uses that kick as leverage to jump away from Naruto, and he starts weaving hand signs for the fireball jutsu. So he's like fire style, fireball jutsu, and Naruto was like fire style, wave of flames, and then he spread his hands out, and like a wave of flames pretty much came out of his hands, and it had kanji throughout it. And Sasuke knew how Naruto fights, so he knew that this was a sealing fire. He just didn't know what kind of seal it was, and but then he quickly found out that it was a chakra absorbing seal when uh, the fire actually absorbed his fireball, and Sasuke had to basically burrow underground to dodge the flame, and the flame went to destroy a bunch of trees behind him. Like, Sakura was about to call off the match and make Naruto take away the flames, like dissipate the flames, but then she saw that Sasuke was able to dodge it, so she was relieved. And anyways, uh, Naruto knew that Sasuke went underground, so he sensed for Sasuke's chakra, and he was like, so I found you. And Sasuke is about to pop out right behind him, but Naruto quickly wove a few hand signs and slammed the seal onto the ground. And this is actually a barrier seal. So basically, the area about 20 meters around Sasuke um, was completely cut off by the barrier, like a circle of 20-meter radius with Sasuke as a center, pretty much. That was kind of like cut off from the ground, and like it kind of prevented Sasuke from coming out of the ground. And Sasuke was like, Naruto, let me out! Like in a muffled voice, and Naruto was like, only if you forfeit. And Sasuke was like, I forfeit, quick, I'm gonna suffocate. And Naruto, of course, he removed the barrier, and Sasuke came out, and he was really, really jealous that Naruto was this powerful, and he was like, how are you so strong? And Naruto was like, when you're chased around by the villagers all the time, you'll grow up, you grow up pretty quickly, Sasuke. And Sasuke was like, so what about when you get your entire clan massacred, Naruto? And Naruto's like, you're forgetting, Sasuke. The same thing happened to me. Even I had my entire clan massacred. And Sasuke was like, whatever. And he marched away. And Naruto kind of like gave him a worried glance because he didn't know what was going on in Sasuke's head. And Naruto was like, Sasuke, can I please see your curse seal? And Sasuke was like, no, you cannot. Now get lost. I have training to do. And Naruto was suspicious, and he discreetly activated his Jutsu, like his curse mark, on Sasuke. And of course, since the curse mark was attached to Orochimaru's curse mark and it wasn't directly attached to Sasuke, uh, the curse mark basically suppressed all of Orochimaru's curse mark's evil intentions, and this made Sasuke a lot calmer. But then he still went away, and Naruto was like, I wonder what's going on inside his head. And he didn't want to force Sasuke and use a truth seal because he considered Sasuke to be a friend, so he didn't really want to uh, disrespect his privacy like that. So he just assumed that Sasuke was in a bit of a rough patch, so it would just take a while to get better, and afterwards he would feel a bit better. So Naruto just left with Sakura, and then afterwards that night. Sasuke was punching a training dummy in his clan's training grounds, and his hands were kind of bleeding, but then he showed no signs of stopping, and he was like, damn it, I trained so hard, still he's so much stronger. And then four figures land next to him, and they began observing him, and then Sasuke was like, show yourselves, I know you're here. And the four sound shinobi walk out, and they're like, now Sasuke, is there any way to greet your guests? And Sasuke was like, out with what you want to talk to me about. I don't have any time for pleasantries. And the sound shinobi were like, my, straight to the point, are we? Anyways, Lord Orochimaru wants to give you power strong enough to beat Itachi, power strong enough to beat your friend Naruto. And Sasuke was like, so how is Orochimaru going to give me this power? Last time I saw him, he ran from Naruto like a cat with its tail between its legs. And the Sound Shinobi were like, see, Sasuke, that's the thing. Orochimaru has a lot of knowledge and skill. However, his body is too weak to handle the use of all of his knowledge in battle. That's why he needs you. And once he has your body, he'll have the Sharingan, and he'll be able to use all of his jutsus through you and easily defeat Naruto and Itachi. And Sasuke was like, and pray tell me, why would I want to become Orochimaru's body? And the Sound Four were like, don't you want to defeat Itachi? Don't you want to kill him? And Sasuke was thinking about it, and he was like, I decline. And the Sound Shinobi are like, looks like we'll have to beat it out of him. And basically, they go on to trash Sasuke, same as they did in the original. And Sasuke was like, damn it, am I really so weak? Those four good for nothing fools that Orochimaru sent managed to beat me. I must go to him for power. And basically, he told the Sound Shinobi that he will be meeting them, and the Sound Shinobi just chuckled, and they went outside the gate and told Sasuke to meet them in at midnight, and Sasuke went and packed all of his things, and he had the same interaction with Sakura that he did in the original, and Sakura was like, Sasuke-kun, don't tell me you're leaving, and Sasuke was like, there's nothing you can do about it, Sakura. I'm an Avenger, and this is the path I'm going to take. And Sakura was like, Is it for Orochimaru?" And Sasuke was like, yes, Sakura. This is a path I must take, so please don't follow me." And Sakura was like, But if you leave, I'm going to scream." And Sasuke was like, "Oh, are you now? Better make sure that doesn't happen then." And in a flash, like in a body flicker, he was right behind Sakura, and he gave her a chop to the neck to knock her out. And he was like, "I'm sorry, Sakura." And Sasuke is actually a lot more affectionate towards Sakura. Like, he actually likes her a lot more because uh, she kind of stopped being a fangirl. Like, she toned it down a little bit, and she got a little bit stronger, and she was able to be a good support unit for the team. So he just gently hugged her, and he carried her bridal style and placed her on a bench, and then he left. So then Sakura awoke a few hours later, and she saw Naruto walking to a convenience store, and she ran to Naruto, and she was like, Naruto, please." And Naruto was like, "What happened, Sakura?" And Sakura was like, "It's Sasuke-kun." And Naruto's eyes widened, and he was like, "What happened to him?" And Sakura was like, He left." And then Naruto was like, "What? How can he do that?" And Sakura was like, he wants power, Naruto. Didn't you know that?" And Naruto was like, "Of course, that's stupid, arrogant. Uchiha wants power. I have to beat that Uchiha superiority crap out of him." And Karin actually, caught up to Naruto after a bit, because Naruto actually was on a walk with Karin, but then he told Karin that he'd go get something from the convenience store and then come back, and then Karin was just hung back, and Naruto went, and she just went on a different road, and but then anyways, Karin got up to Naruto and Sakura, and she was like, "What are you guys talking about?" And Naruto was like, "Sasuke has left the village," and Karin was like, "What?" I mean, I'd expect him to be the type, but then it's pretty sudden, isn't it? And Naruto was like, "I'm afraid so. I guess we're gonna have to go and catch them and retrieve Sasuke." And then Sakura was like, "Who's them?" And Naruto was like, "It's possible that Orochimaru must have sent some men after Sasuke, sent some of his men after Sasuke." And Sakura was like, "What leads you to make that conclusion?" And Naruto was like, You think there won't be Anbu guarding that precious last Uchiha? And Sakura's like, I mean, there must be, but Naruto's like, no buts. I'm pretty sure that all those Anbu were taken out and killed, so that Sasuke can have an easy escape. And also, this entire scheme that's been happening, that happened, it doesn't seem like it was only Sasuke who thought about this. And Sakura's like, what do you mean? And Naruto's like, why do you think he'd leave the village at this point? And how would he even find out where Orochimaru's hideout is? And Karin was like, he's got a point there. And Sakura was like, alright, so we have to go. And Naruto was like, Sakura, you stay here. I might be losing one teammate today, however, I don't want to lose the other one as well. Sakura just gave a light smile and she was like, alright, Naruto, but be careful. And Karin was like, "Aw, no words of caution for me." And Sakura was like, "Shut up, Karin." And Karin just chuckled, and Naruto was like, "All right, Karin, let's go." And Karin was like, "Wait, you're bringing me as well?" And Naruto was like, "Don't you want to come? It'll be fun. It'll be nice to test your new skills, wouldn't it?" And Karin, she just laughed and she was like, "All right, then let's go." And Naruto just smiled and they left after the sound shinobi. And since Naruto and Karin are both sensors, they were able to sense, where the sound 4 were. And Naruto already knew Sasuke's chakra signature, so he could feel it slowly being tainted by a darker chakra. However, he just thought that this is something that Orochimaru's men were doing to kind of confused Sensoryinen about where Sasuke was. Uh, but then it couldn't fool Naruto. But then, uh, that's what Naruto thought they were doing. They didn't actually know about the cursed pill and stuff. So of course, like it was a pretty logical conclusion to make. So, anyways, Kimimaro meets them a lot earlier in the timeline. So basically, while they're still giving the chase, Kimimaro was like, "Alright, you guys, give me the barrel with Sasuke, and you hold off the two people who are chasing you." And they were confident in this idea because they were outnumbering their pursuers. So they thought that they had the advantage, but they would later find out how wrong they were. So of course. Naruto and Karin both caught up to the Sound 4, and uh, and they were like, Taiyuya was like, "You shitheads aren't getting past us," and Naruto was like, "Shitheads? Now we both have the same color as yours, don't we? Same hair color as yours, don't we?" And Taiyuya just she couldn't think of anything to say back, so she just like spluttered. Uh, but then Kidomaru, he came up and he was like, "Anyways, you guys can't get Sasuke. He's Orochimaru's vessel." And Naruto was like, so Orochimaru can use that technique, huh?" And Karin was like, "Wait, what do you mean? What technique?" And Naruto was like, "It's called the Eternal Youth and Immortality Jutsu. It's a forbidden jutsu, and it's a type of sealing jutsu that was used by the Uzumaki clan, or should I say, a few rogues from our clan." And Karin was like, "That technique was first an Uzumaki technique." And Naruto was like, "Of course it was. Every sealing jutsu, whether forbidden or not, was either an Uzumaki sealing jutsu or derived from an Uzumaki sealing jutsu." And the Sound 4 were also like pretty confused with this. And then Sakon and Ukon spoke up, like, Sakon spoke up and he was like, "So, you're forbidden, the rogues from your clan were able to turn into snake, like a snake." And of course, Naruto was like, no, that jutsu doesn't require you to be a snake. But then the years of experimentation Orochimaru did on his body led to him turning into a snake. Anyways, we're losing time, so Karin, let's fight. And Karin was like, Naruto, anyways, we're losing time. Leave me behind and then go save Sasuke. And Naruto was like, are you sure you'll be able to handle them? And Karin was like, who do you think I am? And Naruto smiled because he knew that she was a high Kage level shinobi by now, since Naruto trained her in Fuinjutsu and she finished all of the books and the basics of Fuinjutsu, and she even made a few of her own, which consisted of a creation that she was really proud of, and this was the anti-rape seal. So basically, a woman would put the tag right above her, womanhood, and if anything was shoved into her vagina against her will, uh, it would basically be destroyed at a molecular level, basically like the atomic dismantling jutsu. So if someone forcefully tries to stick a dick inside a girl who has that seal, uh, he's going to be neutered. So, anyways, uh, Naruto is actually really impressed with this the seal. But anyways, I'm sidetracking. But Karin is at the level where she can actually make that kind of seal, and she's a sealing expert, and she has three chakra natures, which are water, earth, and lightning. And the only common element she has with Naruto is water, at least as of now. So, anyways, enough about Karin. She is at level where she can take on all these four. So Naruto just smiles and he runs to chase Kimimaro. So now we're going to see what's happening with Karin and the Sound 4, their fight. And first, it's Jirobo who attacks, the fat guy. So Karin dodges his punch first, and she notices that it makes a small crater on the ground. So and she also sees a curse mark on Jirobo's neck, and she knows that he can output more power than that. So she makes it a point to not get hit by any of Jirobo's attacks. So instead, she actually uh, saw that Jirobo was pretty slow, and uh, she slammed an open palm into Jirobo's chest, and Jirobo staggered back, and he saw a seal spreading over him, and this was actually a tendon severing seal. So she actually got the inspiration from seeing Tsunade and seeing her chakra scalpel. So this was actually a seal of her own creation, and she was able to make a seal that would actually send chakra impulses that would act similarly to a chakra scalpel and chop off all the tendons in the body. So Jirobo howled in pain, but he couldn't do anything other than that. And then Karin, she turned to who was it? Sakon and Ukon, and before she could do anything, an arrow was sent towards her. But since she was able to sense the arrow, she was able to move out of the way. But unluckily for Sakon and Ukon, they were right in the line of fire, so they got hit, and one of the twins, Ukon, died. And Sakon was like, "You little shit! How dare you, Kidomaru? How dare you kill my brother?" And Kidomaru was like, "It was an accident." And Sakon was like, "Yeah, and like an accident is will bring her back." Sorry, like saying it was an accident would bring him back. And Kidomaru was like, "What do you want me to say?" And uh, Sakon was like, "Once we get back to Orochimaru's lair, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. But right now we don't really have the luxury of doing that." And They all looked at Karin, who just stood there with a stoic look on her face, and basically, Kidomaru sent one of the spider webs, but Karin just went through some hand signs and said, "Earth style, Earth wall," and then a wall came before her, and the arrow was blocked, and Karin ran up to Kidomaru. Kidomaru dodged her palm strike, seeing what it did to Jirobo. But then he shot some of his spider webs again at Karin, but Karin actually sensed that these webs were laced with chakra, and what better to cut through chakra than chakra itself? So she actually opened her palm and made a chakra scalpel and sliced the web as it came. And Kidomaru was like, "Impossible! My web is indestructible." And Karin was like, "Well, maybe not anymore." And Kidomaru just kept trying to get Karin, but then eventually Karin managed to sever all of his tendons as well. And then she turned to Sakon, and Sakon didn't stand any chance. Karin just started fighting him with the kunai until she slit his throat, and she did the same to the other two as well. And then Tayuya was the only one left, and she was like, "Hmm, now you'll see, I'm different from the other three." And Karin was like, "Hmm." And then Tayuya just took her flute out and started playing it. And she noticed that Tayuya was molding chakra into the flute, so she knew that this must be some kind of jutsu related to sound. So she decided to block her ears. So she just took out two earbuds from her ninja pouch and she blocked her ears. And Tayuya was like, "You knew?" And Karin was like, "I'm a sensory ninja. What do you expect?" And Tayuya was like, "I didn't expect you to be that good." And Karin just blitzed towards Tayuya, and she grabbed the flute and crushed it. And Tayuya didn't know what to do, and she was like, "Please have mercy." And Karin was like, "Don't worry, I sense your chakra. It's pretty familiar. Tayuya Uzumaki." And Tayuya was like, What do you mean, Uzumaki?" And Karin was like, "Have you ever noticed from your red hair and your own sensory abilities? You're definitely an Uzumaki. If not a full Uzumaki, you're at least partly an Uzumaki, which means your family." And Tayuya was like, but how do you know?" And Karin was like, "Didn't I already tell you? I'm a sensory ninja. I can sense chakra that's similar to Uzumaki chakra. And you have a chakra that's similar to Uzumaki chakra." And Tayuya was like, "Oh my god," she was just thinking, like, "Man, what a revelation." Like, you know what I'm saying? Because anyone would kill to be in the Uzumaki clan. So, anyways, Karin was like, "Alright, Tayuya, so now, before I explain everything to you, I'm gonna have to knock you out and place you in the ceiling scroll. Otherwise, I can't risk you trying to escape the moment you get the chance." And Tayuya just agreed, and Karin just knocked her out with a chop to her neck, and she did some hand signs and sealed her into a scroll. It's a stasis scroll, which means Tayuya would just be preserved in that state for however long Karin wanted. So even after 1,000 years, if someone unsealed Tayuya, she would still be in the same state. So, anyways, now we move to Naruto's fight with Kimimaro, and Naruto knew that taijutsu with Kimimaro was pretty useless. You know, pretty early on in the fight, and because the bones are just too unpredictable. Like, even though he's a sensory ninja, the bones came out too fast and too randomly for him to detect them. So he decided to stick to long range with Kimimaro. And then Kimimaro was like, so you realize that you can't go in a you can't beat me in a taijutsu match, didn't you? Naruto was like, and then Kimimaro was just like, don't worry, I have some long range techniques too. And then he pointed his fingers at Naruto and he shot his finger bones at Naruto. And Naruto's pretty surprised, but he did a hand sign, and black kanji grew all over his body, and the bone pellets, they hit him harmlessly. And Kimimaro was like, "How do you do that?" Naruto just shrugged, and he um, did a few hand signs and said, "Water style, raging waves." And of course, he spewed out a huge amount of murky water, which actually contained seals. And due to Orochimaru spying, Kimimaro knew about this ability, and he knew that he had to avoid the water, but he didn't really know how to. So he just but he finally, like, he got an idea, and he clapped his hands together and he was like, last dance, bracken dance. And then a huge forest of bones grew out of the ground, and some of them nearly impaled Naruto, but Naruto, he dodged and he jumped onto one of the bones, and like onto the sides of one of the bones, and just used chakra to support himself there. And Kimimaro was doing the same to avoid the water. So Naruto was like, "Do you think that's the only trick I have, Kimimaro?" And Kimimaro was looking at him in um, curiosity. And meanwhile, Sasuke broke out of the barrel, and he ran away before Naruto could say anything. And yeah, so Kimimaro was just looking at Naruto in confusion, and Naruto just did a few hand signs, and the kanji from the water climbed up the bones, and they actually hit Kimimaro, and they're about to hit him, but then he jumped, but then he noticed that all of the bones that he could land on were covered, so he landed on a tree instead. Like, he used chakra to jump, and he went pretty far. So of course he landed on a tree, and then Naruto just held a hand sign, and the water actually traveled towards the tree, and the kanji started climbing the tree. And this is basically like Naruto's bastardized version of the shadow possession jutsu, because he was able to control the kanjis in the water to go wherever he wants. But then they had to, like, stay connected to the water. Like, he couldn't just start them out of anywhere. So yeah, Kimaro kept trying to dodge, um, and he was being pretty successful until Naruto managed to catch him off guard, and he shot him. He actually, like, uh, replaced himself with the shadow clone, and he went to the other side, like the side opposite to the water, like the side where Kimimaro was going, and then he said, "Fire style, sealing flames." And he blew out a huge jet of fire, and Kimimaro had no escape from this. So he just braced himself, and uh, he grew out as many bones as he could to protect himself from the fire. He was still pretty scorched, and all of his chakra was depleted because of the seals. And then the water from Naruto's previous jutsu had trickled, and touched his foot, and the sealing kanjis climbed all over him and restrained him. And Naruto was like, "Sorry, Kimimaro, nothing personal, but you work for Orochimaru, so I have to kill you. Nevertheless, you are still a very good fighter, and I respect you for that. May you rest in peace." And he did a few hand signs, and he placed his palm on Kimimaru's heart, and he said, "Uzumaki Forbidden Jutsu, blood sealing technique." And the only disadvantage of this was that Naruto had to press it for 5 seconds, and he couldn't just apply it randomly because like he could only apply it to Kimimaro since he was restrained. So this is just to ensure that Naruto can't become OP with this technique. So anyways, Kimimaro dies because his blood cannot circulate anymore and all of his cells die. So then Naruto goes after Sasuke, and they both went to the Valley of the End, and they each went to their respective statue, like Sasuke to Madara and Naruto to Hashirama. And Sasuke was like, Naruto, please return. I don't want to hurt you. I just want more power. I'll go to Orochimaru, and I'll after I defeat Itachi, I'll return to Konoha. And Naruto was like, "You'll do no such thing. Why are you so obsessed over killing your brother? Despite what he did, he's the only family you got left. At least try to give him a chance and try to understand why he might have done what he did." And Sasuke was like, "I'm sorry, Naruto, but I told you before. Regardless of why he did what he did, he killed my family, and I can't forgive that." And Naruto was just like, "Come on, Sasuke, weren't any of our bonds meaningful to you?" And Sasuke was like, "What bonds?" And Naruto was like, Team 7, like the time we spent together with Kakashi Sensei. And remember when we pranked Kakashi Sensei?" And Sasuke was like, I was happy that I wasn't on the receiving end of that. But please, Naruto, just let me train with Orochimaru for 3 years, and then afterwards I'll return. I'll kill Itachi and I'll return, please. And Naruto was like, Sasuke, please, I don't have time for this. Let's return to Konoha. I kill off all of Orochimaru's subordinates. And Sasuke was like, I was hoping you didn't have to come to this, Naruto, but I guess we're gonna have to fight. And Sasuke knew very well that he had no chance against Naruto in his base form, so he directly went to Curse Mark 2, and Naruto tried to control the Curse Seal, but then he noticed that he couldn't gain control over it because Sasuke upgraded it to level 2, and he was currently reprimanding himself for being stupid enough to uh, not place a curse seal on Sasuke himself. And this was because when he placed the curse seal, he connected it to Orochimaru's curse mark so that he could control the curse mark instead of Sasuke. Because Naruto isn't the type of guy who'd like controlling his friends. So, yeah. Sasuke, he charged towards Naruto, and he went in a taijutsu fight, and then he saw that Naruto was making a kanji with his chakra, and he quickly jumped back, and he realized that he wouldn't be able to like escape if Naruto uh, hit him with one of his sealing jutsus. And he made a point to not stay in the water because he knew that Naruto had that water jutsu, and if he stayed on the water, like even with the tiniest splash of water, he'd be sealed into place. So he couldn't risk that. So he stick to the land, and then he waved a few hand signs, and he was like, "Fire style, fireball jutsu." And Naruto was like, "Fire style, sealing flames." And the flames obviously overpowered Sasuke because they were sealing the chakra in Sasuke's fire into and the Naruto's fire was sealing Sasuke's fire into it, and Sasuke was like, Impossible." And Naruto was like, anything is possible, Fuinjutsu Sasuke. And Sasuke was like, whatever, I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna learn Fuinjutsu from Orochimaru. And Naruto was like, I thought you don't want to kill me. And Sasuke was like, well, I changed my mind. And Naruto was like, probably it's the effect of the curse mark. And she was just thinking that. And then but Sasuke still had to do something about the fireball. So he quickly made a few hand signs and he dove underground, and he used the headhunter jutsu to pop up right behind Naruto, and he was about to pierce a Chidori right through Naruto's chest. But Naruto caught his hand and he twisted it and pinned Sasuke to the ground. But then Sasuke unleashed more chakra into his curse mark, and Naruto is reprimanding himself for not preparing a sealing jutsu to take out Sasuke and bring him back. But then right now Sasuke he overpowered Naruto like with a sudden explosive burst of chakra that Naruto didn't expect, and Sasuke jumped back, and Naruto was running out of chakra because sealing jutsu takes a lot of chakra, especially like Uzumaki sealing jutsu, and especially Uzumaki forbidden sealing jutsus. So his fight with Kimaru had taken a lot out of him, and keeping pace with this curse mark to Sasuke was also taking a lot out of him. And Naruto was like, Sasuke, why do you want to kill me? And Sasuke was like, because Itachi told me. Itachi told me that if I kill my best friend, then I'll unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan. And Naruto was like, so that's what you're behind, the Mangekyo Sharingan. And Sasuke was like, yeah. And then he prepared a Chidori, and he is he launched himself at Naruto, and Naruto didn't even make any attempt to dodge, and Sasuke pierced him straight through the chest and destroyed part of his heart, and Naruto threw up blood, and Sasuke reverted to his normal state, and he realized what he had done, and he was like, "No, no, Naruto, why didn't you move?" And Naruto was like, "Well, that's simple, Sasuke. You wanted your eyes to develop, didn't you?" And Sasuke was like, yes, but not like this. I was only following what my brother said because of the curse mark, Naruto. Why did you do this? And Naruto just chuckled, and he was like, Sasuke, I guess you found out my clan's weakness now, didn't you? And Sasuke was like, this is not the time to be talking about that. I have to save you. I'll carry you back to Konoha. And Naruto was like, don't bother. And then Sasuke was like, nonsense, I'm taking you. But then, right as he was about to carry Naruto back, Orochimaru and Kabuto actually appeared, and they were like, leave that trash, Sasuke. It's time for you to come and train with me and get enough power to defeat your brother and kill him. And Sasuke was like, no, he needs help. And Orochimaru just rolled his eyes, and he grabbed Sasuke, and he reverse summoned himself before Sasuke could react. And basically they went back to his hideout, and Naruto was left there to die. And after a few moments, Karin actually came, and she noticed that Naruto had a very very faint pulse, and she was like, "Oh no! What did he do to you, Naruto? Don't." She quickly went, and she carried him, and she wisely placed him into a stasis scroll so that he wouldn't like lose any blood um, or have any of his cells weakening because of the condition he was in. So she was about to go back before she was stopped by a mysterious man. So now we're going to skip back to Sasuke, and Sasuke was like, "What the hell, Orochimaru? Why would you do that? He was my friend." And Orochimaru was like, Well, look at your eyes now, Sasuke-kun. And Sasuke looked at his eyes reflection in the kunai, and he saw that he had unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan, and he was like, the Mangekyo? And Orochimaru was like, yes, your body will very be soon, will be right for the picking very soon, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke was really disturbed by the statement, but then, um, as long as it would allow him to take revenge on his brother, he would allow Orochimaru to take his body, at least right now. So of course, Sasuke didn't really react to this little outburst by Orochimaru, and instead he was like, "Why didn't you bring him here? We could have saved him." And Orochimaru was like, "Do you really think I'm that type of person, Sasuke-kun?" And Sasuke just hung his head, and he just thought to himself, anyways, Naruto is dead and he sacrificed himself so I can become stronger, so I might as well make use of that. So he looked at Orochimaru and he was like, Orochimaru, teach me Fuinjutsu. And Orochimaru was like, my, Sasuke-kun, that's a very unusual art that you're interested in. And Sasuke was like, well, it is a very powerful thing, and I would also like to learn it to keep the legacy of my friend alive. And Orochimaru was like, while those are honorable goals, Sasuke-kun, I know you want more power, so ninjutsu is the way to go. And Sasuke was like, no, I want to learn Fuinjutsu first. And Orochimaru was like, to be honest, Sasuke-kun, I don't really have that much expertise in that area. It is still a mystery to me, even though it's my life goal to learn every single jutsu. And Sasuke's eyes were widened in shock when he saw that Orochimaru himself wasn't very adept in Fuinjutsu, even and his friend Naruto was like a seal master, and he was like, whatever, teach me whatever you can. I have to go kill Itachi. I have to make sure that Naruto's sacrifice wasn't in vain. And now we go back to Karin, and she was actually knocked out by this man, and she found herself waking up in a cave, and she looked beside her to see Naruto sleeping beside her with bandages wrapped all over his chest, and she was like, "Where am I? Who's here?" And then a bearded, red-haired man comes from one of the walls of the cave, and yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? Like the cave was a bit like a labyrinth, like, and from one of the um, turns, a red-haired bearded man came out, and his red hair was like kind of faded. It wasn't like as vibrant as Naruto's and Karin's. She could tell that he was an old man, and he also belonged to the Uzumaki clan, and like she could sense his chakra. She was like, she looked at him and she actually recognized him, and she was like, "No way, you, you were that you were Naruto's grandfather." And the bearded man was like, "Indeed, I only hope that he wakes up soon because I have a lot of things to share with you guys." And Karin was like, "How are you even alive?" And uh, the grandfather was like, "I see you are pretty well informed to know that our clan was destroyed." And Karin was like, "I'm pretty sure there's no one who doesn't know that. At least not in the shinobi world." Uh, and the grandfather just chuckled and he was like, Anyways, the reason why I am alive is because I was saved by my father, and even my little daughter was saved as well. And of course, uh, Karin was like, I thought Naruto's mother was dead, and the grandfather was like, not his mother, his aunt, Mako. And Karin was like, he had an aunt, and the grandfather was like, yes, he did, but she was estranged from her family at a young age. She had some rather distasteful habits that we didn't really approve of. And Karin blushed at the meaning that she understood from the word distasteful, and the grandfather just gave her an amused look, and Karin was like, "What of the other two? Are they here?" And the grandfather was like, "Yes, they are. Uh, my father is resting while Mako is making some food." And Karin was like, "I'm so happy that more of my clan members are alive." And she threw her arms around Naruto's grandfather, and the grandfather just gave her an awkward hug, and she was like, "By the way, sir, before I forget, there's another shinobi who's sealed in one of my stasis scrolls. Her name is Tayuya Uzumaki, and she's an Uzumaki. Even though she doesn't exude as much presence as a normal full Uzumaki, I believe that she is partly an Uzumaki." And the grandfather was like, "Yes, I am aware. Tayuya has already been unsealed, and she is exploring the caves that we are staying in." And Karin was like, "I've been meaning to ask you about that. Where is this place anyway?" And the grandfather was like, "It's an old place where Azuzumakis would prepared to use as refuge in case things got out of hand in the main island." And Karin was like, "Then why isn't anyone else here?" And the grandfather was like, "There's too much panic around the village to actually warn anyone. And plus, this area is so old that only my father knows about it, and he left the village to go and explore the world more than 3 or 4 decades ago." And Karin uh, was like, Wasn't there any other place?" And the grandfather was like, "Well, the Uzumaki clan had a council full of idiots. They had so much pride in the clan that they thought that no matter what came in their way, they would be able to take them on." And of course, Karin was like, "Then why didn't you prepare a place without the council's aid?" And the grandfather was like, "Karin, you have seen the system in Konoha, don't you? Didn't you? Uh, well, the system in the Whirlpool village was kind of like that. The leader of the village couldn't get anything done without the approval of the council." And Karin just nodded in resignation, and she was like, When is Naruto going to wake up?" And the grandfather was like, I'm afraid your little boyfriend will need a few more days." And Karin blushed at this, and the grandfather just smiled with an amused look on his face. And now we time skip to when Naruto wakes up, and everything is explained to him. I'm not going over the explanation again, guys, because Karin already got the explanation, so it would just be double work. So, anyways, after all the introductions, um, all of them decide to train Naruto, Karin, and Tayuya in Fuinjutsu, and of course, Naruto was like, "But me and Karin are already sealing masters." And the grandfather was like, "Naruto, uh, Konoha's standards for what a sealing master is are not as high as the standards in the Whirlpool village among our clan. And Naruto's like, "What do you mean?" And the grandfather was like, "Let me show you what a true sealing master like your great grandfather can do, Naruto." And Naruto, his eyes widened in interest, and the great grandfather was like, "Stop looking at me like that, you little brat. I may be old, but I'm powerful." And Naruto just suppressed an urge to chuckle, and the great grandfather was like, "You dare make fun of me?" And he exuded all of his chakra, and this made his, nearly white hair blow behind his, like basically a blow in the wind, giving him like a menacing sorcerer kind of appearance. And he actually did carry a staff with him to help him walk, and this added to that overall like sorcerer kind of appearance that he had. And Naruto was completely shocked at how much presence his great grandfather had. Like he even doubted whether he had that much presence, like that much chakra and all that stuff. Um, and the great grandfather, he did a few hand seals, but these hand seals weren't any seals that Naruto knew. And he slammed his palm on the ground, and he saw 10 different kanji appear next to each other. And Naruto was like, How did you do that? How did you make 10 different sealing jutsu at once?" And the grandfather chuckled, and he was like, "Naruto, your great grandfather is the most accomplished sealing master in the entire Uzumaki clan, besides his mother, Mito Uzumaki." And Naruto was like, "What? I'm related to the first Hokage's wife?" And the grandfather was like, "Yes, you are, Naruto. Your great grandfather was actually the child that she had before leaving Uzushi Gakure to marry Hashirama Senju." And Naruto was like, "Why would she have a child and go and settle down with another husband?" And the grandfather was like, he just sighed and he was like, "She didn't have a choice, Naruto. She had a lover back in Uzushi Gakure. However, once the council had cemented the alliance between the Senju and Uzumaki clans, she was given away as nothing but a trophy, something to keep Konoha happy, and a matrimonial alliance." And Naruto was seething in rage, and his grandfather just continued, and he was like, even though Hashirama Senju was quite appreciative of her, and he respected her a lot, and she grew to love him for it, she always regretted that she couldn't spend time with her lover and live the life that she really wanted. And Naruto was like, "How could they just do that?" And the grandfather was like, "You must remember, Naruto, in life there are some things that are never in your control, and sometimes you'll have to end up doing things that you don't like or you find uh, immoral." And Naruto was like, "I don't believe that crap, grandfather. I'm a true shinobi, and I dictate the terms on which I live my life." And the grandfather looked proudly at Naruto, and he was like, "Color me impressed, Naruto. I'm happy that my grandson has such a strong will. I just hope I don't see it break soon. So I'm warning you that things like this might happen." And Naruto was like, "Don't worry, grandfather. I don't have a will that can be broken. Only weak shinobi have fragile will." And then the grandfather just smiled, and he was like, "Anyways, I was telling you why your great grandfather was one of the most powerful sealing masters." And Naruto nodded, and The grandfather was like, "Well, your great grandfather can do hand seals with each finger." Naruto was absolutely shocked with this, and he was like, but how?" And the grandfather um, was like, "Well, Naruto, he has had much practice and he has a lot of chakra control, and he's capable of imagining the hand seals for 10 different sequences." And Naruto was like, "What about when the sequences have different lengths?" And of course, the grandfather was like, "Well, if that's the case, then whenever one seal finishes, that finger gets added to the next finger in the process of seal making. For example, if he's trying to make 10 jutsus at once, and the ring finger on his left hand runs out of hand seals to make, then it joins the pinky finger of his left hand in making the seals for the other jutsus." And Naruto was like, "That's actually a genius idea. It could allow me to pump jutsus at 10 times faster, at a 10 times faster rate." And the grandfather was like, "Well, you only have 3 years over here before the Akatsuki start making their move and capturing Jinchuriki. So I believe it's best we train you now. And even I haven't mastered it after training in it for such a long while, but something tells me that you might be able to do it. And Karin and Tayuya will learn with us as well. After all, they are family." Naruto grinned, and his training arc started. And after 1 year was over, the grandfather went to Naruto and Karin, and he was like, "Naruto, Karin, I have a gift for you. I'm giving you the summoning contract of the Uzumaki clan." And Naruto was like, "But I already have a toad summoning." And uh, the grandfather was like, "Oh, trust me, this is way more powerful than toads." And Naruto looked at the scroll, and it had kanji, which translated to dragon. And he was like, "Really? Dragons? They exist?" And of course, the grandfather was like, "You didn't know? I mean, well, that is to be expected since I am the last owner of the contract, and I have kept any information about it uh, restricted in the Uzumaki clan, because the dragon contract was very powerful, and I didn't want to risk any missing nin from our clan using our dragons against us." And Naruto nodded, and he was like, "But still, if it was restricted, when I came back to the Uzumaki village after it was destroyed, I couldn't find those books." And the grandfather was like, "Well, those books were programmed to seal themselves using the reverse tetragram seal in case there was any tampering with them that was unauthorized." And Naruto just nodded his head, uh, and basically the grandfather explained everything to Naruto about the dragon summoning contract, and how there are dragons of different elemental affinities, and different types of dragons, like one's meant for offense and one's for defense, and one's for support. And Naruto and Karin both trained with dragon summonings, and Tayuya got a little bit jealous, and she kind of like got pissed at the grandfather for not giving her the contract as well. But then the grandfather actually reasoned with her by saying that since Tayuya had no experience in had like really little experience in Uzumaki sealing jutsu, the dragons wouldn't take a liking to her yet, and she'd have to become a seal master level in order to actually get a dragon summon. And she just looked down in um, longing for the dragon summoning but it kind of drove her to train a lot harder. And even though after the end of the 3 years she was nowhere close to level of seal master, she decided that she would keep training until she was deemed ready to have the dragon summoning. So of course, Naruto learned a lot, and he learned how to make the one-fingered hand seals extremely fast, and like Kakashi speed level, like god tier. And he also learned how to reduce the hand signs a lot for many fuinjutsus and even ninjutsus. And he also unlocked his other two chakra natures, which were lightning and earth, and in that order. And he was really happy about it. But his primary method in combat would be fuinjutsu and taijutsu. So as they were about to leave, Naruto's grandfather walked up to him and he was like, Naruto, me, your aunt, and your great grandfather, we're doing a small mission. And Naruto was like, what is this mission? And the grandfather, he was like, well, we want to collect all the Uzumakis who have been scattered around the world and help restart the clan. And Naruto was like, well, Karin, and Tayuya will do anything to help. Won't you, Karin, Tayuya? And they both nodded. And by the way, the curse mark on Tayuya was removed because of Naruto's training in Fuinjutsu. He actually used the nine phantom ghost seal, sorry, the nine phantom dragon seal, and this kind of leached Tayuya's a curse mark onto himself, and the QB destroyed it. And he even got onto a lot better terms with the QB. And Jiraiya already gave him the key, seeing his abilities, um, and Naruto actually unlocked the cage, and the QB was friends with him. So yeah, he befriended the QB, and he even learned Dragon Sage mode, which is pretty badass since it gave him different types of horns, like depending on the type of dragon whose sage mode he went into. Like he had to learn four different types of dragon sage mode because, sorry, five different types of dragon sage mode because there are five elemental dragons who are kind of like the boss summons in the dragon clan, and he needed to learn their specific styles, and he could freely switch between each dragon's senjutsu style. And basically, like, the fire dragon would grant him the ability to breathe fire without making any hand seals. And like basically he could get it as hot as he wanted to. And yeah, nothing would happen to him in side effect, and he could do it without hand seals. And the wind dragon gave him the same ability. Like pretty much every dragon gave him the ability uh, to use senjutsu and turn it into fire, like sage chakra, and turn it into like any of the elemental, um, the chakra elements. And he could do this without hand seals for anyone, and he could just freely manipulate it however he saw fit. And he had to admit that this was pretty damn incredible. And of course, he was about to say bye to his grandfather, and his grandfather was like, alright, so Naruto and Karin and Tayuya, now that you know of our mission, I want to tell you about two Uzumakis that we found uh, uh, lurking around the world. And Naruto was like, who are they? And the grandfather fidgeted uncomfortably, and he's like, they're both related to you, Naruto. One is your uncle, your mom's long lost brother, Nagato Uzumaki. Word is that he had the Rinnegan, uh, the dojutsu of the Sage of Six Paths. Naruto gaped at this, and he was like, "Does that mean it's possible for one of us to unlock that too?" And the grandfather was like, "I don't think so, Naruto. I think it was implanted into him." And Naruto just shook his head as how seeing how cruel people could be to just implant um eyes into a kid. And he was like, "All right, I'll try to save him. What about the other one?" And the grandfather was like, "The other one is your mother's cousin, Sasori." Well, my sister was a very adventurous person, and she married someone in Sunagakure, and she had Sasori, and Naruto was like, so there are two more Uzumakis lurking out there. So I have to find them and unite them. And the grandfather, of course, gave a happy nod to Naruto, and he was like, "But I have to ask you to be careful about one thing, Naruto. Both of these people are members of the Akatsuki, the organization that's trying to hunt down tailed beasts. I believe that they're actually not evil, however, they're living a misguided life. So I hope you can try to turn them to the good side." And Naruto was like, "Of course, grandfather, I'll do my best." And the grandfather was like, "I'm sure you will, Naruto. Anyways, I believe it's time for you to go now." And Naruto just hugged his grandfather, and Um, Karin and Tayuya also awkwardly hugged him because they're still not used to hugging the old grandfather. Even though they spent 3 years with him, like he didn't really have that kind of contact with them at any time. So when they hugged him, it kind of felt weird. So, anyways, the grandfather waved them off and said bye, and Naruto quickly told Karin and Tayuya that before heading back to Konoha, they would first find those two Uzumakis and try to try to make them join the little group of Uzumaki clan survivors. And he decided that he'd go to Konoha later after that, and that Karin and Tayuya were also of a similar mindset. And they had received word that the Katsuki had started making its move in in the sand village. And during his training with his family, he did travel around the world. And even though Jiraiya wanted to take him on a training trip, he thought that Naruto was dead, and Naruto was disguised whenever he went around. And Naruto had actually perfected the flying Raijin to the extent of the fourth Hokage. And he also made a new style where he could make it rain water, and each of the raindrops had tiny seals. And and he would teleport to each of the uh, raindrops whenever he needed to in a fight. So yeah, they received a word that the Akatsuki was making a move in Sunagakure, so they all teleported there. Um, so they were just in time to see Kankuro about to fight with Sasori, and Deidara about to leave with Gara. And Naruto was like, "All right, you three take the puppet guy. I think he's pretty strong, and I'll take Deidara, and I'll take the blonde guy." And he still didn't know what the Akatsuki members looked like, so he was like, I'll take the blonde guy. You guys take the puppet guy." And basically, um, he caught up to Deidara, and he summoned his dragon. And this was a lightning released dragon, because he saw that Deidara was throwing bombs behind him when he pursued him, and he could sense earth and lightning chakra in the bombs, which was the Kekigenkai of explosion release. And he knew that if he overwhelmed the bombs with enough lightning, they would uh, basically not explode, they'd become duds. Like he basically figured it out the same way Sasuke did when some of the bombs he hit with lightning style techniques didn't do anything when Deidara tried to explode them. So of course Naruto summoned a dragon for lightning, uh, and Deidara was pretty caught off guard, and he got pretty zapped, and his entire Kenjutsu system was shut down by the voltage of the bolt that hit him, and he was like, I can't make my art. What have you done? And Naruto was like, that isn't the point now. And before Deidara could do anything, Naruto was like, sealing jutsu, semi paralysis seal. And he widened his eyes at Deidara like in a menacing way. And Deidara was frozen for a moment. And this is long enough for Naruto to slam his hand onto Deidara's heart and say, Uzumaki clan forbidden sealing jutsu, blood sealing, and this basically killed Deidara effectively, and Naruto brought Gaara back to see that Sasori was out of his shell and he was fighting the group, and he was like, "Wait, guys, that's Sasori." And Karin looked at him, and she saw that it was Sasori, and Sasori was like, "So you're going to be intimidated now?" And Naruto was like, "No, Sasori Uzumaki, we're only here to convince you to talk to us for a little bit." And Sasori was like, my, the QB Jinchuriki wants to talk to me, does he?" And Naruto was like, "Please don't refer to me by calling me the QB or the QB's Jinchuriki. I hate it when people dismiss my own talent by calling me the QB Jinchuriki, implying that it was because of the QB that I'm this powerful." And of course, Sasori was like, "Hmm, I like this one." And Naruto was like, "Perhaps that's because we're family, Uncle Sasori." And Sasori was like, "Uncle?" And Naruto was like, "Did you ever look into your mother's heritage?" And Sasori was like, "No, the only thing I remember about her is that she had distinctly red hair." And Naruto was like, "Well, it turns out that she was actually my grandfather's sister." And Sasori was like, "Approve it." And Naruto gave Sasori a sealing tag, and he was like, "Sasori, place this on me. It's the truth seal. And if I try to lie, then I'll be caught, and the tag will explode." And Sasori was like, "All right then." And he placed this tag on Naruto, and Naruto told him the truth about everything, and he ripped off the tag after that, and Sasori couldn't believe what he was being told, and he decided to join them because family, and other than Chio, they were the only people he had, and they would certainly keep him safe from the Akatsuki. So yeah, and he also tells Naruto about the location of the bridge where he and Orochimaru, like Kabuto, are supposed to meet, and Naruto delivered Gaara back, and the sand basically the council was like, "Thank you for protecting your Kazekage. Now, I guess we'll have to tell the Konoha ninjas to come to turn back once I get here." And Naruto was like, "Give them this message," and he wrote down a message, and rolled it up and sealed it, and in such a way that only Kakashi would know how to open it, because he trusted Kakashi. So of course, he sealed it, and he was like, "Give this message to the Konoha shinobi," and he left. And of course, when Sakura, Kakashi, and Sai actually, when the Asai got introduced a lot early on in a lot earlier on in the series, because um, Sakura was the only teammate of Team 7 that was still in the village. So, of course, Kakashi thought that Naruto was dead. But, yeah, so they got the message from the Sand Shinobi, and they went to the bridge to um, to fight Orochimaru, and get some info on where Sasuke is and stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it off for today, guys. Sorry for making this part so late again, and it's been what, like, past a week. So anyways, if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and share this video with your friends, and comment on your thoughts on this video, and your ideas for any future what ifs, uh, or like my story in this what if. And thanks for watching, guys.